What up, people? Welcome to another episode of Social Moments. So, by now, seeing the title of this video and hearing the name Thomas Partey, it doesn't really sound good to a lot of people up right about now because of issues that's resurfaced. For some time now, he's been embroiled in rape allegations. You know, the issue comes up, it resurfaces, it goes low, it goes into the shadows, then resurfaces again. But this time, when he poked his head out, it came with a lot of visuals, graphics, in a form of text messages between Thomas Partey and the woman who is accusing him of raping her, Shantae. And it's messy. That's what I can say. It is messy. So yesterday, the woman involved in the whole situation came online. Her name Shantae on Twitter and dropped allegations after allegations with text messages and videos and pictures of her time with Thomas Partey and what led to her accusing him of rape. The events of these allegations supposedly happened during the Premiership break, where he went on a spin with this girl, Shantae, and apparently they went out nights, they came back, she was drunk, laying in bed. Thomas Partey orally raped her. Because knowing she was drunk, her words, not mine, Thomas Partey still forced himself on her and puts his D in her mouth. Said nothing about it in Spain because she doesn't believe she would get any help in Spain. And unfortunately, when they came to the UK, nothing could be done about it either because the UK doesn't have jurisdiction over what happens outside of their shores. But 10 days later, the laws changed for them to have jurisdiction over what happens outside their border. But because the events or the supposed or alleged incidents happened in the time frame, which is the 10 days before that law was passed, the UK police can't do nothing about it. It's like something pushed her yesterday. She said she don't care about the NDA. NDA, which stands for non-disclosure agreement, something you usually sign in a monetary settlement to keep your mouth shut about a case. She says she doesn't care anymore, and so she came online to spill the details of what went on between them, revealing messages after messages that dates back months ago, and it's a lot. So she came swinging with a tweet that said, Thomas Partey is a serial rapist who has got lucky because the date he decided to rape me whilst we were on holiday together was 10 days before UK law changed, allowing UK police forces jurisdiction over crimes committed outside the United Kingdom. And this followed with a video, about a minute long, give or take video of their so-called Snapchat messages, and she's scrolling through it, which was a little hard to understand because of how fast she scrolled. But when you take screenshots, you get a fair idea about some of the things she was talking about. So in the video, she captioned, "This is the quote-unquote innocent man you as Snap fans were defending." This video was recorded from my friend's phone after his agent threatened me and told me they would say I made fake videos and manipulated screenshots. So basically what I gathered from the screenshots was that she was sleeping, they went out drunk, she came back, she was sleeping, drunk, and Thomas Partey forced his, according to her, Thomas Partey forced his penis into her mouth, which she says I googled it and found out that it was actually rape. So with the claim of being drunk and passed out and Thomas forcing his penis into her mouth, he replied sort of defending himself, saying, "You were drunk and you know what I did and what I didn't do. Now that's a great experience from you. When you hold my D and all by me not wanting it, how do you call that? You think I always wanted to have sex," which is basically Thomas Partey implying she does it to him. And she replies saying, "That's not what happened. You always did it with me. You told me to suck it. I never ever touched you when you said no, ever. You always say suck it and I do it. Never ever did you tell me to stop." So along the line, Thomas Partey seems to blame himself for getting involved with her, which he says, "I guess this is a big problem. I would have to blame myself for knowing you from the beginning." And she says, "I'm not trying to expose you. I have been nothing but good to you." So she said, "I trusted you and you raped me." And Thomas Partey asked her, "What are you trying to achieve here? Doing this out of spite, out of revenge because he moved on and he wants to be with someone else?" And she can't deal with that fact. That's his argument because according to him in their chat, he did nothing to her. She just left her to sleep. You were sleeping. I let you sleep. Now you want a point to accuse me of rape because that's what girls do now. So go ahead, I'm the devil here. So at some point, Thomas Partey says, if that thing really happened, why did she wait all the time to bring it up? If indeed she knew she was raped, why would she wait all of that time? And she says she told her friend that night immediately. She says, why did I wake up with him slapping his D on my face and trying to force it in my mouth? I'm too drunk to walk to your room, like trying so hard not to throw up. Ears are ringing. I literally just messaged him and was like, you can't do that. Don't try and wake me up by slapping your D on my face and trying to force it in my mouth when you know I'm drunk and I'm passed out. And he said, so I should wake you up. And I said, you need to leave me alone when I'm too drunk, or at least wake me up and ask. If I'm saying no, I'm too drunk and need to lie down. And he said, I don't need to do that. So at some point in the chat, she says, we need to talk about what you did because I'm thinking about it and it's really not okay. I don't want to argue with you or make you think that I want to argue because I don't. I've not enjoyed this trip at all, especially after this. The last thing I want to do is to argue with you, but what you did, that's sexual assault. You knew I was too drunk and told you clearly, no, I'm too drunk, I will throw up, and you still kept trying to force it into my mouth. This is what I was scared of earlier. I came back down and told you I'm too drunk to walk to my friend's bedroom, so give me 10 minutes to sleep. Why would you do that? What would make you think I wanted you anymore after that? Then you came back and acted like I just wanted to argue with you. I never ever wanted to do that. I wanted to be able to enjoy my vacation with you. We have fun together. At this point it gets weird. I brought the numbing cream because even if your D is too big and it hurts me, I know you like to F me from behind and I wanted to please you. Basically, that's what she's saying. You know, there was a lot of doubters in the comments, a lot of people, Thomas Partey stans, if you want to call it that, who did not believe what she was accusing him of. So people kept asking for more proof of the said allegations, and she kept providing chats after chats between herself and Thomas Partey. She said, Thomas Partey is an admitted rapist. No woman can accuse you of raping her, and your response is this. He raped me, left me in bed unconscious, then went out to party in Ibiza. Came back, laughed in my face, and told me I don't get to say no to him. Not once did he say I was lying. And these are the chats, the supposed chat between them, which she says, I just woke up, but what you did was wrong. You knew I was too drunk and I was sleeping. Waking me up by slapping your dick on my face and trying to force it in my mouth, which Thomas Partey says, what's wrong? Which she replies, mouth when I'm way too drunk is not nice. Which Thomas Partey replies, I should wake you. Which she said, you should ask or not to wait until I am drunk like that. Which Thomas Partey supposedly asked, no, I don't need to wake you. Now the backlash and the replies to her tweets was so serious that at one point she hinted at committing suicide. She said, I simply cannot die knowing that I didn't speak out about what the man did. About what that man did to me and many other girls. I was never the first and I wasn't the last. Hate me, call me a liar, make jokes under my post. I was traumatically raped and can't bear living anymore. In another tweet, she says, and I quote, why don't rape victims come forward? Look at what the people have treated me. This is why I can't keep living like this. I did nothing but trust the man I was dating wouldn't take advantage of my unconscious body until I woke up sore and bleeding the next day. And as the replies kept coming, she also kept replying them saying, I did everything I could to get myself justice the legal way. The system is not designed to help victims. Why would I ever come out publicly and lie knowing that I'm going to be sued? Why would I speak online knowing the hate I would get? What am I gaining for this? Slander me all you want. I wanted to speak the truth before I mentally can't handle being here anymore. When I end my life because I can't deal with the night terrors, daily panic attacks and flashbacks and constant reminder that he's seen as innocent. I know I did what I could. I fought as hard as I could. I did everything right. I went to the police. I reported it to the embassy. I gave my phone up for evidence even though I didn't have to, all for a legal technicality to ruin it all. I was brave, which means other girls who came forward has a chance. I could have lived my life 6 figures richer, but I couldn't live with the guilt of knowing that he might get away with this and people wouldn't know the type of monster he is. I can't live my life knowing I didn't do what I could to speak out. I was brave, I can't do this now. Even though she says, she was gonna stop for the night, she came back with more tweets because people kept coming at her, I guess. So someone said, you've been caught out about 7 times already tonight, and now you come with I'm drunk, which she replied, give me an extensive list of where I'm lying and I'll give you evidence for it all in the morning. Someone even accused her of chasing clout on Twitter, which she said, I have over 20k on Instagram, I don't even use it. If I wanted attention, I would do it there. Why would I want to be called a liar, told to get raped, send death threats, when I know that I'm going to be put in a 6-figure debt? Which I guess implies the non-disclosure agreement which she was talking about with her lawyer, which she has breached by coming out with all of this information. And it reads, Dear Shantae, I was really sorry to hear on the phone how distressed you are feeling at the moment, and your concerns about potentially ongoing assault by Thomas. You are thinking about returning the damages that Thomas had paid to you so that you can speak freely about what happened to you and hopefully stop the same happening to other women. As we discussed, there are a few options. Return the money, £156,976. You could potentially face injunction proceeding if Thomas Partey or his lawyers thought you were going to make a defamatory statement. His lawyer have made it clear that he rejects the allegations you made and regards them as defamatory. If you spoke out and Thomas' name was published, you could face a libel claim. You would reveal your identity in speaking out. I am not able to advise you on how likely the evidence that you have would be enough to prove to a court in libel proceeding that your allegations are true. If you didn't want to go down this route, it would be worth speaking to a libel lawyer to find out about your prospects of success and what your funding options are. Use the freedoms you do have under the settlement agreement to speak to the police again. It may be that if they look at the messages and if they are aware of the medical treatments that you have had and the records that exist to prove that, they might investigate and question Thomas. Your identity would be protected. You will not have to give the money back if Thomas was arrested and charged. It might be that other women would come forward as well. Take no further action. You told me that you had stopped your therapy and not sleeping well. I would urge you to speak to your GP who may be able to offer you some support, a referral or some medication to help. It may also be that you are able to find a suitable psychologist who would speak to you outside of your working hours. I know that you are concerned that you have heard about other potential assault that Thomas Partey has made, and you told me you feel responsibility for not stopping him. Please do bear in mind that his actions are his responsibility and his alone. His actions are not your fault. In another tweet, she says, I'm literally putting myself in 200k debt by doing this, exposing myself to online harassment, death threats, and messages calling for me to be raped again. I don't care anymore. I used all my strength to proceed with the Conan's case, only to find out he can get off on a technicality. So people kept asking for pictures, video evidence, etc. to back her claims of having been violated by Thomas Partey, which she provided pictures and videos of the said vacation she went on with Thomas Partey. But people were still doubtful that anybody could have picked images off of the internet. So one guy actually took it upon himself to check if the pictures were authentic by putting it through a site called 10i. And this site helps you to find out if pictures are authentic or not. For example, in her case, she claimed these are unreleased pictures. People asked for results, for evidence, and she released these pictures. And people still claim, she could have picked the pictures from anywhere. So this was to determine if matches could be found of the pictures elsewhere on social media or on the web to determine if it's originally from her or not. So this person put the picture through the website called 10i, and the Polaroid she posted had 0 matches. One at what looks like a restaurant with Thomas Partey, 0 matches, and the other one in a room with Thomas Partey shooting a peace sign. Parts of their text gets crazy as she kept bringing up the whole issue, and Thomas Partey kept, I don't know if deflecting is the right word, but he was trying to get him to apologize for what she claims he did. But he was like relentless, claiming he did not do it. In the WhatsApp chat, she says, I never wanted to fight you. You know already I tried to give you over 24 hours after it happened to resolve it. I just wanted an apology and for us to talk seriously about it. But I wanted to go out instead because he said that he's going to say I made fake messages. He said they have evidence and will make sure that I'm in trouble for lying. Which Thomas Partey says, that's what I don't want to listen because you are trying to make everything seem bad. And that's not the issue. if you are ready to solve, you don't make issues. That's all I ask. And she says, Thomas, I don't know if you just don't realize how serious this is, or you just don't want to say over text because you think I'll use it to make you look bad. But I'm not making things look bad. They are bad. So she replied a message from Thomas Partey saying, it is not that part at all, but we won't talk about the part I am mentioning because you keep thinking I'm trying to catch you out when I'm not. No, that's not what I want an apology for. The other part you don't want to talk about on text, that is the part that is making me stay sick. The reason why I'm hurting and why I can't sleep, that is why I can't wait. Now, in the midst of all these allegations, something weird happened. Somebody created an anonymous account, which some people are implying is Thomas Partey or one of his associates, to try to spill some of the beans and give insight to what happened. In one of his tweets, the Twitter handle Shapata14 says, Mr. Partey presented with enough evidence to suggest that such acts were consensual. When Ms. Shonte did something similar earlier and told Mr. Partey, you can do that to me now. Whatever happened the next morning was not something Ms. Shonte was prepared for, but she did permit it. Ms. Shonte is not wrong when she talks about the incident, but during our investigation, we found gaps in the conversation which hints towards deleted text. Upon further investigations, we found out that these acts in a relationship were consensual. And I think the portion where this person, whoever he is hinting at, if you've been paying attention throughout all of this thing, is one point when Thomas Partey says, you are drunk and you know what I did and didn't do. Wow, that's a great experience from you. When you hold my D and all by me not wanting it, how do you call that? You think I always wanted to have sex? I think this might be the part where the person is implying that they have this agreement between themselves. This has been crazy. More details keep coming out day by day, and I'm gonna update you all. Leave a like, subscribe, and catch you later.